pause and renew the applause. Ladies and gentlemen, himself, the Earl of Grantham, Hugh Bonneville. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to say, ladies and gentlemen, the Dowager Duchess, Maggie Smith. Thank you so much. You're sitting there. I've got to now try and be professional for the next 10 or 15 minutes, which will be frightfully difficult. And there's another thrill coming up later on for when it comes to question time. Carson and Thomas are about this. Utterly thrilling. How difficult was it to take on board the fact that this is it, the final series of something which for us has been a dominant feature of our pleasurable viewing, and for you guys and gals, an important piece of work for 5-6 years, Maggie?
Well, I'm just surprised that I got to be it. because just before this, which is what, 6 years ago,
yeah.
I'd done about 10 years with Harry Potter. So I felt very, very old indeed by the time I got to the Downton. So I'm honestly just surprised that I got through.
But it was fun.
I mean, I'm still here. There's absolutely nothing made of wood in this entire hotel.
To save her blushes, when she arrived, we brought her in through a little side door and what have you. When we finally got into the hotel, there was a bucket on the floor and a mop, and she said, "What a thoughtful little welcome." There we are. Before coming to you, same question. Goodness me, the ups and downs emotionally that you have had as a character and have had to address and deal with as an actress. I mean, were you almost relieved that at last the wretched thing was over?
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, Alan and Bates have certainly been on quite a roller coaster ride of emotions, but I never imagined when we started, but I think none of us imagined that we'd be here 6 years later, sort of talking about this huge success, and we're all so grateful for that. I also never imagined that Alan would go through so much. So as an actor as well, I've been extremely fortunate to have such fantastic, scenes to play, and to have Brendan to play with, and Phyllis and Michelle and all the guys that we work really closely with.
But the evolution of the character, it could be simply one of the ladies within the house, but in fact it was interesting from the start, and we know from just watching the first episode of the final series, the complexities of your private life, the complexities of crime and jurisprudence and what have you. Quite a big challenge for, if I may say so, in the presence of the greatness, a young and developing actress. It's a really big, tough role. And do you think, I'm really glad I've got that on my CV now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we're all glad that we've got Downton on our CV. Maggie doesn't really need it, but
we didn't need much.
No.
I didn't have much to do with this.
You got stuck with Denver. Would you not rather have had her than Denver?
Well, I don't know if she was up to all sorts.
Let's not mention Turkish diplomats.
No, let's not.
You, my dear friend, were the cornerstone of this, and apart from the deep and passionate emotions that we all felt about poor old ISIS, you had to kind of see through all of these ructions, the financial pressures, the North American railway stock. Warren Buffett's got it right now, you got it completely bloody wrong, and the rest of it. But were you aware of being, as it were, the ringmaster to the family and to the piece?
Well, I think actually, as we all know, the house is actually run by the women, and people like Robert are allowed to think that they run the place, but really it's Cora and Mary and everybody else who are pulling the strings. I think the most central character of the show is actually the house, and that's what's been the strength of the piece, I think, throughout, is that we are all visitors in that house, either by the Robert's view of the whole thing, which is it's his duty to hand it on to the next generation, to the people who work in it, who are employed to be in it. But it's the house that's the big rock. That's the real cornerstone of the piece, and we've been very lucky to be there. It will be very freezing and freezing cold in February, but then lovely barbecues in summer.
And were you conscious, because you very often articulate Julian's thoughts of a changing world and an evolving world, that you were giving us a kind of ringside view of a world that, not only dealing with Titanic and the tragedies of that, but then the First World War so movingly, and then economic catastrophe and so on and so forth? Or was it, you read the script, you learn it, and you do your best as an actor? It's slightly more than that. It is a big social and political statement, albeit done beautifully elegantly.
No, you read the script, learn the lines and say them, that's all it is. It really is. I mean, if it's not there, you can't play it. And luckily, all that sort of historical tapestry, if you like, that's in the background is there. It's not just in Robert's stories. It's there for everyone. We have, it's delicious when historical characters either pop in or are referred to. We have a minister of the government coming into this series, who then audiences will recognise when he does appear. He has a significant part to play in the future of the country, and so it's lovely when little free songs like that happen, where of course we're a fictional world. This is a complete romantic fictional world, but it's lovely when little dots of reality creep in, and if it sends someone to look at a history book, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely right. The other end of that analysis, and something that I am utterly addicted to, and I have dubbed them Dowager Gems, is this series of magnificent one-liners and put-downs that Julian comes up with you and Gareth.
That's Julian. Because, I mean, in Gosling Park, which was before this, I had a few of those put-downs, and I think he bore that in mind. So, I mean, they're wonderful, wonderful put-downs, but believe me, they are all Julian's. I get accused of making things up myself, and I absolutely don't. They are all his.
Do you seek them out when you get when you got last tense the script for the next episode or the next series?
Well, Hugh is quite right. We're usually scrambling to keep up with, what's there, and because it's out of sequence a lot of the shooting, that's pretty alarming. Because it's very hard to keep up with. Well, I find it hard. I think people who are better at all this sort of television stuff. No, I mean it is incredibly hard to go from 1 to 5 to 4 to 6 to in the episodes. So they, thank God they are written with clarity. Otherwise, you would never be able to keep up. And they are written with clarity, and they are in shortish bits.
And there's brutality as well. We talked about it last year, while you've seen and what have you. A strength to the piece, but a huge challenge not only to you as an individual actress, but the company that you keep, and that sense of support when you've got to go through something like that as a part of the work, but you're doing it within what must have become a very close community of actors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are a true ensemble, and there's, Downton is a show that there's characters where we're all either supporting the scene or leading the scene. We all have our share in both of those roles equally, and that's what makes it so nice. And I absolutely had the most amazing support for that when it was my turn to lead that scene or those particular scenes, and vice versa. You do it for your fellow actors.
What aspect will you miss of it most, Hugh?
I think it's the ensemble, genuinely the ensemble. And by that I don't just mean the actors, I mean the crew as well. I mean, we are, I've been using this analogy of, we're the visible tip of the iceberg, and of course anyone who works in television knows there's a vast army beneath the surface who aren't seen. And they work tirelessly, they work far harder than any of us actors do. But we're the ones who are here talking to you, but we're on behalf of hundreds of people who work on the show. So I think I will miss well, luckily there's a lot of very high standards out there in the British film and TV industry, so hopefully one will bump into it again. But I think I haven't worked on a project that has had every department working to such a high level of its game, which consistently for over 6 years. So that's what I'll miss. I think the absolute attention to detail, and of course we sometimes get it wrong, TV aerials, and things like that. But they are a remarkable bunch of people, and all credit to them, and I'll miss them.
Outside, Gareth was saying that various groups of actors and actresses finished their last hits, and there were, I think last night was even that late, one of them was. I don't mean to be impertinent or probing, but I mean, was it pretty, you know, teary and weepy when you realised these were the last words that you were going to be uttering in this piece with your partner, with your chums, with your friends, and with your employer?
Yes, it was. It was quite a lot of our last days for downstairs characters yesterday, and I finished at lunchtime as my final scene, and obviously the gang had the final scene of the day. So I got away quite lightly. So I just had my own tears, but I think it just developed into everybody in tears by the end of the day. So I think I would have been in absolute pieces if I'd been there for that very last moment. But it was a wonderful final day actually. It was all the things you'd hope it would be. It was happy, sad. It felt like a good time to finish this, and we were all doing it together. But like you said, it's the people that we'll miss. And
was it in that sense, Maggie, slightly closer to being a theatre company rather than an ensemble that was put together in, albeit dogged order, to do a television piece?
Well, yes, it was, but Hugh is quite right. It was extraordinary and incredibly kind of reassuring to see these people day after day and know that they were the first people there and they were the last people to go. And you've no idea how incredibly exhausting that must be. I mean, I do not know how it's done, quite honestly. And there they are, all of them, and always in a very good mood, which I can't say for myself. They were honestly wonderful, and I would feel, you know, really ashamed that I was all kind of gritty because it was a very early call, and I think that they're there. I mean, you wouldn't believe, and they'll be working on night shoots.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And final edits and all that stuff.
Oh, it's just extraordinary.
Final quick one, then over to my friends out here. Given everything that you've all said, it's clearly, you know, chill out time, but you are all jobbing actors and actresses, got to earn a living and what have you. Do we yet know what you individually are going to be doing next?
I'm going to be lying down.
Is there a time scale?
No, I did quite some time. And the other thing I will be doing is watching it. I'll get the box set and have a good look.
What about for you?
I start a new job on Monday, actually. Yeah, I'm doing a...
Mad girl.
I won't be lying down. Yeah, so I'm doing a two-part drama for ITV called Dark Angel, and it's a true story about a woman called Mary Ann Cotton, who was the first female serial killer in the Victorian era.
Oh.
So I'm going on dates to a poisoner. Yeah. So serial killer
Didn't your age
on
mention
Monday.
that?
My goodness.
What about you, sir?
I'm rapidly trying to grow a beard. I'm reprising a cameo I did in a mad show for ABC called Gallivant, which was a medieval musical when I played a pirate king. So I've got a month to grow a beard. Then I shave it off the next day, and I play Lord Mountbatten in a film about the partition of India.
Oh, amazing. I didn't know about that.
Be in India.
I did one of the last interviews with Louis Mountbatten in my early years, and one should admit to stupidity and naivety when one has committed it. And I said he was standing on the bridge of a destroyer going into Southampton, where it was going to become a part of the museum. And I said, have you ever been on the bridge of a destroyer before? There then ensued a very moving account of HMS Kelly. Not a mistake, not to do the research I have made since, I hope. You are lovely, lovely people, and I'm really grateful for your time. I hope now you'd be happy to take a few questions from our ensemble. Oh, up there you go. Can we have the house lights up? Let's start with... Oh, we've got, yes, Carson and Thomas are here to help us. So don't argue.
Hello, everyone.
Is that working?
Big round of applause for them as well. Okay. And again, if you could just let us know who you are and where you're from.
It's like so God rest her soul. What's your name? Where'd you come from? From the Daily South Sunday. Lee from the Daily South Sunday. What's your question, Lee?
So, Maggie, if there's a lot of people would love to see a film made of Downton Abbey. Would you like to see one happen? And if so, would you do it? Would you want to be involved?
A film?
Yes, fancy a film and would you be
Well,
up for it?
yes. Yes, I'm not sure if my wig has been around for a long time. I'm not sure if the wig will be around, but hopefully I will be. But I think the wig is slightly more tired than I am. But, yeah, it would be fun.
You've just been wigged, but very effectively. Over to you, sir.
Oh, right, if I got, oh, somebody on this side over here. Here we go, lovely. Marvellous. Am I supposed to get through there? How's that going to happen? No, I'm not clambering over. There you go. Say your name and where you're from, me darling. There we go.
Hi, I'm Mona from Virgin Media. I just want to know, the show's known for having amazing props. Have you taken any little mementos home?
What have you pinched from the set as a memento? I sub.
This is for me.
Yeah.
We wouldn't dare. We absolutely wouldn't dare. Have you pinched things?
Well, I wanted to liberate one of the mustard pots from the dining room.
Did you?
Well, because that's where we kept, the winged murder.
Yes, that was our game.
But I thought that was a bit rotten on the props department. But I did liberate one of the letters that we read, because the audience never knows this, but they're beautifully written and they're always appropriate to the scene we're in. And they could, they don't just say blah blah blah, and they actually are, to do with, coming to build a new house on the estate or something like that. And they're, gorgeously researched and beautifully written. So I've liberated that and put it in my scrapbook.
You got one of those? Oh, very good.
What's your nick?
Well, strangely, there's not a great deal of Anna's wardrobe or props. I really wanted to take home, like it's either a tray or a black dress was my choice. So I decided to leave it all where it
I mean, it has been a storyline in the past, but you could have nicked a bit of a jewellery and then blamed it on somebody else.
Yeah, but then that's not fair because it's all borrowed, all the jewellery. So the costume had to give it back to the customer. So
That's a reasonable defence.
yeah.
Thank you very much for a brilliant question. So,
Next up is Tim from our friends at the Daily Mail Weekend.
Hello, a couple of questions for Dame Maggie, two quick questions. One, you mentioned watching the box set of Downton Abbey. Does that mean to say you haven't watched it thus far?
No, I certainly haven't watched anything that I've done. And I have seen some of it, but I want to sit down and look at it all.
Okay, and the other question was, do you...
are you allowing him to have two?
They are quite quick ones.
No, it's entirely out of Thomas.
I mean, what are the rules?
Yeah, let him have two, mate, yeah.
It will be quick. I wondered
It's
if...
good.
It is good also, I think. Dame Maggie, can I just ask you whether you think you share anything in common with your character?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm like that all the time. Every single moment. I never let up. Everything I say is brilliant, just like Julie.
It's the Russian bit, the best.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And I do a lot of that.
Yeah, enough, we'll move on.
Here we go.
It's not 9 o'clock yet.
I've got a lady over here, and your name is?
Julia Cutner from The Express. Hello, it's a question from Dame Maggie. You joked at the beginning about thinking you might not make the 6 years, but how has working like this contributed to good health for you?
I'm not quite sure what was said.
Has being busy contributed to good health for you?
I don't know.
Has working like an absolute wage slave helped keep you healthy? I'm not sure I know what she's getting at.
I think that's debatable. This is why I want to lie down. No, it's very good. Because moan one might, but I think it would be very, very alarming to be completely on your own and have nothing to do, except lie down.
Thank you.
Next up we have a question from Patrick, who is freelance, so self-employed like us. Give him a chance.
Thank you very much, Thomas. I just want to know from all of you what your favourite line is from the Dowagers, and especially from Dame Maggie. From the whole series, basically.
Harsh question, but brilliant one. Hugh, do you have a favourite?
I'll probably misquote it. It's one of our... principles are like prayers, noble of... No, was it?
There's no way I can help
No, yes, principles are like prayers, noble of course, but awkward at the party.
You said there's no way I would know that.
My other favourite line, which is not actually of yours, is I'm going upstairs to take off my hat.
Well, I guess it's the most famous, isn't it? What is a weekend? That's become the line of the whole 6 series. I think everyone just knows that line.
And I have no idea really why. I was totally unaware of it when it happened, when it came, in truth. And I think that's true of everyone. Probably not Julian, but...
We've started well in episode 1 of the final series. Does it never get cold on the moral high ground? I like that. I thought that was good. That was very good. Thank you. Brilliant question. Thank you very much.
I've got one up here. I've got to say that my favourite moment of Maggie's, it was a physical moment, is when the Dowager Countess met a revolving chair for the first time. I have replayed that many times, every time. Now, here with a top quality question is Julia from The Guardian.
Hello, no pressure. I was interviewing one of your fellow cast members last year, and they mentioned that when you get your pages every day, or your scripts, it's just, there's no rewrites, it's kind of like Mozart, no rubbings out. Is that unusual in your experience for sort of working on a drama?
Yes, it's very unusual. We do get some pink pages and yellow and blue occasionally, but they're not major. I mean, you know you're in trouble when you're getting a rainbow within the first week of filming, and that's never happened. You do get rewrites for location reasons, whatever, occasionally a few character tweaks here and there, but bearing in mind that by the time we read the scripts, they've been through 2 or 3 drafts, if not more, with Liz Trowbridge and Gareth Neame already. So we are seeing a finished, hopefully finished version.
Were there moments for any of you where it does happen occasionally before a final production, where you thought, I think X might work just slightly better? Did Julian allow, or Liz, or Gareth? You wouldn't dare?
No.
It's the Bible.
Yes.
Well, I think that's crystal clear, and I expect to read it in The Guardian tomorrow. If not online later. Right, over to you again, sir.
Any further questions? Put your hands up and the teacher will come to you. Any questions?
Anybody want to do a
3
song?
questions. Oh, I've got Jim. She's nearer you than me.
I've got
Go on, son, you can do it.
There's a lady here modelling tangerine. No, that's just...
Thank you. It's Neve Anderson from the Scottish Sun, and this is for everyone. Someone had mentioned earlier about if it inspires someone to open a history book, that's great, that's your job done. Did you guys yourselves kind of find yourselves more interested in history as a result of playing your parts?
That's a really good question, if I may say so.
If we were involved...
When you were involved in this piece,
yes.
Did it prompt you either to have a look at a piece of history that you'd forgotten about, or that you'd not heard of before, or to refresh your memory of it?
I feel as though I lived through most of it. What I always find really hard is the Great War. I find that one of the most difficult periods to go near, and I have done it in a kind of jolly way in Oh What a Lovely War. And I remember my mother saying she would never ever watch it because she had lost so much during it. So that period has always been very unnerving. And it's when you know what's ahead, too, that you find it really heartbreaking. So that has a lot of effect.
A truly amazing piece of work. Oh, What a Lovely War.
Yeah.
The depth of satire.
It was extraordinary that it had that deep effect, and that's always struck me.
And if you've not seen it, watch it. We'll see it again.
After you've seen it.
Yes, box set first. Moments of history, aspects of social history.
Yeah, for me, starting out the first series, it was very much getting my head around what it meant to be a woman at that time, and what it meant to be a working class woman at that time, and the lack of choice and the lack of opportunity that I take for granted living in a free society. And that's definitely something that stuck with me throughout the whole series, and you know, seeing those slight progressions for women over these 6 series as we've spanned over this time, and yeah, so that's been something that's absolutely stuck with me.
Hugh? I think exactly that, chiming in with both those comments. Things like when you hear people today saying my vote doesn't count, you think people have thrown themselves in front of horses to get the vote. Use your vote. And also again, the First World War particularly, I had not, in my schoolboy history, really taken on board the extent, the impact of the Spanish flu. I hadn't, so it's things like that that you sort of wake yourself up a bit and go, my goodness, and because of the fact that all these people, displaced people, going back to their homelands, therefore taking the virus with them, and the impact of that was catastrophic. So
he's a clever old bugger, isn't he? Because there was also the white feather and the cowardice, and whether a name could appear on the monument. I mean, that's just not a throwaway line. For families, that remains a burning issue of anger.
Absolutely.
Great question again.
I've just been told by the management that there's 3 minutes of oxygen left in this. So I've got one quick question. You've just seen the first episode. Did you enjoy it? Yes. Let's hear you. Yes. Oh, thanks. Oh, excellent.
And one last question here, because this gentleman's had his hand up. Here you go. Go on.
Ben from TV Rage. Were the cast shocked when they found out this was going to be the last series?
Were you shocked to learn that this was going to be the last series, Hugh?
Well, no, it's an extension. We haven't been cancelled. We've been extended. We were all contracted to do 5 series, and then Julian and Gareth and the sort of creative team all got together and said we'd like to do one more. So I think it's been a lovely experience in that regard. It would have been awful, like in some American shows where you're on set and they suddenly come in and pull the plugs, literally. It's been a bonus. Oh yes. We know about it in London,
Just because you're not only great actors and actresses, you're clever people. And HAYU, the chance to have a slightly later lie down, but a lie down nevertheless, which is very good. I've so enjoyed that, and we're most grateful to you for your thoughtful and provocative questions. But would you please join me in thanking Jim and Rob out in the audience, but also our lovely guests.